I'm your host, Ethan, and welcome to Someone Make These Games! Everyone's favorite talk show where we will talk about games that someone should make. Today our discussion is on a game that was recently announced a couple weeks ago. That's not how this works. Oh. So yeah, Nintendo Switch 2. Stupid name. Wait, what's this? An announcement about the Nintendo Switch 2? Us at Nintendo are proud to announce the new name for the Nintendo Switch 2. The Nintendo Switch U! Okay, Switch 2 is fine. The announcement of the Nintendo Switch 2 was a really big deal. Or it should have been. There were so many leaks going around that we pretty much knew what the console looked like before the trailer even came out. But there was one thing that really caught a lot of other people's eye. So yeah, it's Mario Kart. Wait, rewind that a little bit? Now this is interesting. So, is a new Mario Kart necessary? Yeah. Do I want a new Mario Kart? Yeah. Do I want the Nintendo Switch 2 to launch with Mario Kart 9? Yeah. No! What I wanted to see was a new 3D Mario, maybe a new Zelda, maybe even Pilot Wings. I mean, it's not crazy to think that. It's happened in the past 3 times. And I really do like Mario Kart, but my reaction to the Direct was just kind of... It's Mario Kart? And this was strange. I mean, as I said, I really like Mario Kart. I reacted a lot different to the last Mario Kart related reveal.
Oh, there's DLC tracks?
And when the last Mario Kart game was announced.
Wait, Mario Kart 8 is coming to the NX at launch?
In the last new Mario Kart game.
An 8th Mario Kart?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how long we've been stuck with just this one Mario Kart, not counting these 2 fakers. It's been a whole 11 years. But I can still think back to when Mario Kart 7 was announced, after an episode of Jake and the Neverland Pirates or something. Wearing my Wario costume, of course. Yeah, I was that kid. But back to the new Mario Kart, once I took my eyes off the ugly movie Donkey Kong and moved them to the Italian plumber, I noticed something. Wait a second! Yeah, you certainly did hear it first, but look at it. Yeah, he's back. It's the official return of that. So yeah, the Nintendo 64 looking Mario is back. I mean, it's like I always say, if it ain't broke, might as well take it out of the trash can. And I think it's a very charming look for Mario, and now it's back. And it's not just him. Green Mario is different too, and Bowser and Peach. And while the rest are hard to make out, let's hope they bring back Nintendo 64-era Toad. What? What's so different? It is very subtle, but the characters are just a little bit rounder, eyes are a little closer together, and all of it comes together to make a slightly more cartoony, more expressive looking Mario. And the same goes for the rest of our Mario cast. But while Bowser and Peach seem to change, I don't really know if it's the same for the rest of our characters. Wario's Nintendo 64 designs are kind of just a more simplified version of our current Wario. Donkey Kong's design we have clearly seen is nothing like this one. It is based on his original arcade designs. And I can barely notice any changes between how Baby Mario looked then and now. Yoshi, on the other hand, I think we could see some changes in his character, as Nintendo 64 Yoshi has a very iconic design with his giant head. On the other hand, Daisy was just a Peach clone at the time, so I really doubt we'll see any changes in her character. And Toad had legs, for some reason. But what introduced this modern era? Super Smash Bros. Melee was probably one of the last games to use the Nintendo 64-era renderings for Mario characters. The way they used this style in Super Smash Bros. Melee made it look sort of less plasticky, yet it still maintains the design philosophy of the Nintendo 64 character designs, and now we could actually see them in game. In the trophy gallery, in addition to the more gritty, less plasticky looking models from Super Smash Bros. Melee, we can also see models that represent Mario's look at the time, which was still in the same style of those Nintendo 64 promotional renderings. Before Super Smash Bros. Was Luigi's Mansion. This game's art style still held a lot of the ideology we saw in the Nintendo 64 style renderings, though things were kind of taking a change. Though one kind of odd thing is this painting of Mario, which is clearly just taken from Mario Golf on Nintendo 64. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, we woke up and Mario looked like this.
And he still does.
The GameCube, DS, early Wii, 2000s Mario is so of this era, it just fits. Super edgy Mario. While it doesn't really fit the games, it certainly fits the feel of the GameCube, but it is pretty understandable why they made him all happy and jolly again on the Wii. The thing is, Mario has had his general design this way for over 20 years! But before Super Mario Sunshine came and changed everything, there was one trailer showing what we could have for a future Mario Kart on the Nintendo GameCube. This trailer could easily be criticized for just using the Super Smash Bros. Melee renderings. I mean, they literally did. But the outrage would not last long, because soon came those complete redesigns in every single character. And after 20 years or so, we got to now, where we're kind of seeing a resurgence of this Nintendo 64-era style, specifically noticeable in games like Super Mario Bros. Wonder, where the characters seem to have similar proportions to that of those Mario renderings, even if they seem a little more squished together. And honestly, they kind of share a certain quality that makes them sort of look like clay models. Additionally, we see games like Super Mario RPG being remade with its style that is really reminiscent of the late Super Nintendo, early Nintendo 64 era, and games like Mario Party Superstars and Super Mario Party Jamboree calling back to those Nintendo 64 games. And what makes this different from other retro revivals is that this doesn't seem to just call back to that 8-bit Mario on the Nintendo Entertainment System, or even just the early Super Nintendo, but more of the Nintendo 64 era. Overall, it seems that there's a shift happening in the way Nintendo markets their nostalgia. And with this retro revival, Nintendo's finally giving these older designs a chance, possibly even creating the true Mario Kart for the Nintendo GameCube on the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, why does this make me actually become interested in this game? Well, because to make this anywhere as good as what seemed to be the peak of Mario Kart, Nintendo needs to return to their roots of what made Mario Kart, which is not that. And now, where Double Dash responded to 64 by zigging, this new entry can zag. Of course, it won't be a direct recreation of that trailer. It wasn't great, and neither will it be Mario Kart 64 2. Mario 128? No, I doubt they'll even call it Mario Kart 9. I mean, Mario Kart 8 only got its name because of that one track that's shaped like an 8, and since it kinda dealt with anti-gravity, they made it look like a Mobius strip. Mario Kart 7, on the other hand? I don't know, they felt lucky. But either way, it is bound to represent everything Nintendo was during this period of their history. Really, really good party games. And really, really stupid, but fun gimmicks. So, what is actually in store for this game? I have no clue. But what I do know is that Nintendo has the chance to redeem a forgotten title from a rather unique era in Nintendo history. So yeah. Thank you for watching. Someone make these games. Someone make these games.